Okay, here's something to think about. What if the pyramids of Giza, these incredible ancient wonders we think we know so well, what if they're not the whole story? What if they're just like the most obvious part of something? Well, something much, much bigger, hidden right under the sand.
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? Really challenges our whole picture of ancient Egypt. And, there are some recent, let's say, whispers from the tech world suggesting exactly that,
Yeah.
that maybe Giza isn't quite what it seems on the surface.
Exactly. So today, we're going deep. We're diving into this really intriguing and, yeah, definitely controversial theory. It's all sparked by some recent radar findings.
Right. Findings that seem to suggest this huge, complex network of underground structures right there beneath the Giza Plateau.
Yeah, we'll be looking at reports from places like the Economic Times, Actual Archaeology over in Turkey, the Express Tribune. They're all touching on these claims.
And as usually happens with these big mysteries, right, there's this whole explosion of speculation, some pretty wild conspiracy theories trying to make sense of it all.
Oh, absolutely. But look, we need to be super clear up front. This is crucial.
Yeah.
These are bold claims, and they are facing, well, a lot of skepticism from mainstream archaeologists, from the experts.
A significant amount, yes. It's important context.
So our goal today isn't to say, yes, this is real, or no, this is fake. We just want to unpack these reports, these theories, lay them out as they've been presented. No endorsements either way.
Just explore the information that's out there.
Exactly. So, okay, let's get into it. These initial claims. What exactly are people saying they found?
Okay, so this seems to trace back to Italian researchers. Names mentioned are Corrado Malanga from Pisa University and Filippo Biondi at Strathclyde University.
Right.
And they're claiming that using satellite radar tech, SAR, synthetic aperture radar, they've picked up signs of a really extensive underground network right under the pyramids.
That's the stuff they use for mapping from space, isn't it? How does that even look underground?
Well, yeah, primarily it maps the surface, it sends radio waves down, reads the echo. Different stuff reflects differently.
Okay.
But under certain conditions, those waves can penetrate the ground a bit. The idea is that anomalies in those returning signals could point to structures below. But, and this is a big but, the deeper you go, the fuzzier it gets. The signal scatters, gets absorbed. So getting a clear picture deep down is, well, it's really challenging.
So they're seeing something weird in the data and interpreting it as like hidden rooms way down deep.
That's the core idea, yes.
Yeah.
And the scale they're talking about,
Yeah.
it's pretty staggering.
How staggering.
Reports mention this underground complex could be like 10 times bigger than the pyramids themselves.
10 times?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, stretching maybe almost 4,000 feet down, 1,200 meters. Some reports even say 2 kilometers deep beneath the plateau.
Wow, okay. That's
Yeah.
a lot. So what kind of features are they claiming are down there?
Okay, this is where it gets really specific and, well, intriguing. They're reporting, first off, 8 huge vertical shafts.
Shafts, like elevators.
Or, well, just deep vertical drops. And the depth varies a bit in the reports, but some say around 640 meters, maybe 2,100 feet deep.
Whoa, wait. 2,100 feet. That's deeper than most skyscrapers are tall.
Exactly. It's a massive depth. And get this, they're saying these shafts seem to have spiral staircases winding around them.
Spiral staircases all the way down. That doesn't sound very natural.
Doesn't really, does it?
Yeah.
Hard to picture geology doing that so neatly, so deep down. Then they also talk about massive chambers.
Chambers, like rooms.
Yeah, big ones, including 2 described as like perfect cubes, 80 meters on each side.
80 meters, a cube. That's colossal. I mean, the engineering for something like that, it's hard to even imagine for that time period.
It really is. It would completely rewrite what we think they were capable of, if true. Just imagine the scale.
Mind-boggling. Okay, what else? Shafts, stairs, giant cube.
Also, near the Khafre Pyramid, the middle one, they apparently see maybe 5 identical structures, multi-level ones.
Identical.
Yeah, seemingly identical, connected by what they call geometric passageways, like planned corridors linking these underground buildings.
Huh. Identical buildings, geometric passages. Again, sounds like deliberate design, not random caves. This really pushes the boundaries, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And there's one more really big claim.
Oh, yeah.
A purported water system down around 2,100 feet, again, beneath Khafre.
A water system, like an underground river?
Maybe. Some reports even suggest it might connect all 3 main pyramids, this underground water network.
Wow. Okay, linking the pyramids underground with water. That's a completely radical idea. I can see why people are getting excited or, speculative.
For sure.
But like we said, the mainstream archaeology world, they're not exactly jumping on board, are they? What's the expert take?
No, the skepticism is very strong. You've got Professor Lawrence Conyers, an archaeologist and radar expert from Denver University. He's expressed serious doubts about whether SOAR can actually reliably detect stuff that deep. He basically called the whole hidden metropolis idea a huge exaggeration.
So he's not saying nothing could be down there, maybe small stuff, but a whole city based on this radar. He's not buying it.
Pretty much. He acknowledges, sometimes you find smaller chambers underground. He mentioned Mesoamerican sites where pyramids were sometimes built over caves or older ceremonial spots.
Right, so some underground stuff isn't unheard of.
Exactly. But going from that to this vast, deep, intricate complex, that's where the scientific community says, hold on, let's look at the tech limitations and the data interpretation.
Makes sense. What about the Egyptian side? Egyptologists, the authorities there?
Well, Dr. Zahi Hawass, who's obviously a huge name in Egyptology.
Yeah, everyone knows Dr. Hawass.
He's been very, very firm. He completely denies any hidden structures like this under Khafre. Says there's zero scientific evidence, no radar has detected these things. He basically dismisses it as distortion, trying to rewrite Egyptian history.
Okay, that's pretty blunt. No room for doubt there.
Not much, no. And Hussein Abdel Basir, he's the director of the Antiquities Museum at the Bibliotheca Alexandrina.
Right.
He kind of echoes that skepticism. He points out the limits of the usual ground scanning tech like GPR, ground penetrating radar, or seismic analysis.
Yeah, what are the limits?
He says they're usually only good for, a few dozen meters deep. Maybe.
Yeah.
Not hundreds or thousands of feet.
Okay, so nowhere near the depths being claimed here.
Exactly. And he stresses, look, any real discovery has to go through the proper channels, get published in a respected scientific journal, undergo peer review, that rigorous process.
Which, as one of our sources hinted, might be tough for claims this extraordinary based on this specific type of data.
Right. Abdel Basir specifically questioned if satellite radar could really pick out details like spiral staircases hundreds of meters down.
Yeah.
He's basically saying the claims don't currently have the solid scientific backing needed.
So yeah, it's a real standoff. These incredible, almost fantasy-like claims on one side, and seasoned experts on the other side saying, whoa, the tech doesn't work like that. Where's the proof?
Exactly. And whenever you get that kind of clash, challenging the official story, well, that's usually when the speculation and the conspiracy theories really take off.
Ah, yes. Let's wade into that, shall we? What kind of ideas are bubbling up online?
Oh, predictably, the internet's having a field day. The old myth of the Hall of Records.
The legendary hidden library of ancient Egyptian knowledge.
That's the one. It immediately got linked by some people to this supposed underground water system, like maybe the water guards the entrance or it's a key,
Right. The Hall of Records is like the holy grail for alternative Egypt theories. Finding anything deep underground just fuels that fire, especially something mysterious like a water system. What else?
Well, it's definitely breathed new life into some fringe ideas about the pyramids themselves. Not just tombs, but maybe something more functional.
Like the Giza power plant idea.
Exactly. People are connecting it to Nikola Tesla's ideas about harnessing Earth's energy, and definitely to Christopher Dunn's theory that the Great Pyramid was some kind of machine using Earth vibrations.
So in that view, these underground bits wouldn't be a city, but maybe like the engine room or the plumbing for the power plant.
That's the thinking, yeah. These alleged deep structures are seen as more evidence that the pyramids were part of some massive lost technology.
Okay. And I bet it doesn't stop there. Where else does the speculation go?
Oh, it goes further out. You get talk of pre-flood civilizations, advanced societies wiped out by a cataclysm, leaving these structures behind.
Atlantis-type stuff.
Kind of, yeah. And inevitably, you get the extraterrestrial angle. Maybe aliens built it or helped the Egyptians build it. That always comes up.
Always does. Okay, but our sources mentioned some specific conspiracy theories. There was one about a giant power reactor.
Yes, a really detailed one. It calls it the Aten-Ra energy reactor. It's supposedly built around 2500 BCE, deep under Giza. And the idea is it tapped into zero-point energy, that theoretical energy in empty space.
Ah.
By using the pyramids, the limestone, crystal structures somehow resonating. It's pretty complex. And those big vertical shafts.
Yeah.
They're supposedly conduits, channeling the raw power up towards the Great Pyramid's peak.
Okay. And the spiral stairs, the big cube rooms.
Stairs for maintenance, maybe.
Yeah.
accessing giant quartz crystals at the core,
Bro.
and the cubes, maybe housing other vital reactor parts. It's a whole elaborate system they've imagined.
Wow. It's quite a narrative. And wasn't there another theory about where the radar data actually came from? Something about a leak?
Correct. One theory claims this Italian-Scottish team didn't find this data themselves. It says the data was leaked from a classified Egyptian file from 2019.
A secret government file detailing the reactor.
Supposedly, yeah. Leaked by maybe a sympathetic insider to an Italian lab.
And the researchers we mentioned earlier, Malunga and Biondi.
In this theory, they're basically a front, a smokescreen, set up to give the leaked info some Western scientific credibility, but in a way that lets officials still dismiss it as unconfirmed. A controlled release almost.
Huh. That's intricate. And who's supposedly behind covering all this up? Why?
Well, the theories point fingers at, the usual suspects. Egyptian authorities obviously accused of blocking excavations.
Yeah.
But also international groups, Western governments, UNESCO.
Why would they care?
Money. Economics. The theory goes that revealing a potential ancient, maybe free energy source, that would crash the global oil and gas market, destabilize the whole petrodollar system.
Ah, the protecting the energy industry motive. Classic conspiracy element.
Very common, yes.
Yeah.
And their claims of leaked memos, totally unverified, of course, from CIA, MI6, warning about this economic catastrophe if the Aten Ra project gets out.
Okay, so global powers suppressing ancient tech to protect oil profits. Got it. Does it go even deeper?
Oh, you bet. Some versions claim the reactor wasn't even built by Egyptians, as we know them, but by a vanished pre-dynastic race, the Atlani,
Okay.
who supposedly got cosmic wisdom from ETs. And in this view, the pyramids aren't just tombs or reactors. They're part of a planetary grid, stabilizing Earth's magnetic field, maybe even helping humanity evolve consciousness.
Wow. Okay. That's escalating things quite a bit. Planetary stabilizers.
It really is. And the role of mainstream media, academia, in these theories, they're seen as gatekeepers, purposely platforming the skeptics to bury the story, protect the status quo.
Right. Controlled opposition.
Yeah. There are even claims that some independent geophysicists have seen the leaked scans, know it's real, but they're staying quiet. Career suicide if they speak up.
It paints a picture of this massive, coordinated cover-up. Now, there was also a different kind to theory, less about energy, more about knowledge.
Yeah.
A library.
Yes, that's another major strand. Forget the reactor. This theory says what the radar detected isn't city, but an archive. A library of knowledge.
Containing what?
The true history of humanity. Lost science. Secrets of the universe. Technology beyond our dreams. Stored underground.
So the pyramids aren't tombs, they're security systems for a library.
Kind of, yeah. Like colossal keys, complex locks, protecting this archive. Built by maybe non-humans or a forgotten super advanced human branch.
And the radar findings, how do they fit the library idea?
Well, this theory suggests the radar barely scratched the surface, maybe just detected the outer shield. The shafts and stairs might not even be physical in the normal sense. Maybe they're energy conduits or even dimensional or temporal gateways.
Temporal gateways. Okay, we're really out there now.
We are. The idea is this archive holds info on universal laws, genetics, space travel, maybe even time manipulation. Stored in ways we can't grasp: crystals, resonant metals.
And the skepticism, the blocked excavations, how does the library theory explain that?
Ah, well, that's seen as deliberate too. But maybe not just about money. Maybe there's an ancient secret society, Rosicrucians, or maybe direct descendants of the builders,
Right.
who are subtly influencing governments and academia, guarding the knowledge, protecting humanity from truths it's not ready for, because unleashing it too soon could cause chaos, self-destruction.
So the pyramids are protecting us from the knowledge, in a way, until we're ready.
That's the idea. The pyramids are shields, temporal locks. Access requires specific conditions, planetary alignments, lost rituals, rediscovered tech. Who knows? The radar just pinged the outer defenses.
And all the other theories flying around the reactor, the lost city.
Just noise, according to this view. A deliberate distraction. While everyone argues about power plants, the real secret, the archive of universal knowledge, stays hidden.
It's certainly a compelling narrative, however speculative. Okay, so bringing it back to Earth slightly, where does this leave things now? What's the actual situation on the ground?
Well, as reported, the researchers, Malunga and Biondi's group, they stand by their findings. They've said they want to use better, higher resolution imaging to get more proof.
But the key thing would be digging, right? Actually going down there.
Absolutely. That's the only way to know for sure. But, as we covered, the Egyptian authorities, they've largely dismissed the claims. And, crucially, No permission has been granted to excavate in these specific areas.
So it's stuck.
Pretty much, it's a deadlock. Which really highlights that ongoing tension, doesn't it, between mainstream archaeology and these more alternative ideas.
Yeah, any claim that radically shakes up the accepted story of Egypt seems to face a really high bar, needs extraordinary proof.
And that's probably fair, scientifically speaking.
Right.
But it does create this dynamic, this sometimes polarized debate, as one of our sources called it.
Still, even with the official skepticism, you can't deny these claims have lit a fire under the public imagination. The amount of online chatter, the theories, it's huge.
Totally. Whether the radar findings are ultimately proven right, wrong, or misinterpreted, they've tapped into that deep, enduring fascination we all have with ancient Egypt's mysteries. What else might be hidden there?
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've looked at these claims from researchers using radar, suggesting this enormous underground complex beneath Giza shafts, stairs, chambers, leading to all sorts of theories. Lost city, ancient power plant, a secret library of cosmic knowledge.
Right. But then contrasted with strong skepticism from experts, questioning the tech, the scale, the lack of hard evidence.
And then layered with these elaborate conspiracy theories about cover-ups, secret societies, protecting oil money.
It's a lot to take in. And we absolutely have to stress, again, these are currently unverified claims, speculations, theories. They need way more rigorous work, real evidence.
For sure. So maybe the final thought to leave people with is this. Could these radar blips actually be pointing to something real? A lost chapter buried under Giza?
And if they are, what would that mean? For history, for us? What kind of knowledge, what tech might be down there?
It's a mind bender. So what do you think? What's your theory about what might be hidden under the sands? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your ideas.
Yeah, definitely share your thoughts.
And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the pyramids mysteries, make sure you subscribe. We've got plenty more explorations into the unknown coming up.